I am Angela LaGreca, Creative Director at LTV. Today our special guest is Jay Schneiderman. He is, of course, the Town Supervisor for Southampton, and he's going to update us on our sister township. Jay, welcome again back to LTV. It's great to have you with us. I want to talk about a couple of different things. COVID. You guys have handled it really well. I think all the East End has done such an amazing job. Tell us, though, we know there might be a possible second wave. What are you thinking in terms of the hospital and anticipating that? How is that going to affect things? Are you guys ready?
We're ready. Oh, we certainly are ready. And we've been coordinating. I chair something called the East End Supervisors and Mayors Association. For a while, we were talking every week and then every 2 weeks, and now we're talking once a month. But we've been sharing information and working together and trying to best protect our communities and share resources and things like that. The numbers on the East End are good. It's not that there's no COVID here. There is. I mean, every day, we'll see 70 or 80 cases in Western Suffolk on a typical day. So we're about 10% of the population of Western Suffolk. So if they get 100 cases, I expect us to have 10. But what I'm seeing is they're getting 100 and we're getting 5. So we're not, our incident rate is lower than the rest of Suffolk County, which is good. We're doing a good job out here. Last I checked with Southampton Hospital, they had no COVID patients, which is good. But the week before that, they had 3. So it fluctuates. It's certainly not the time to let our guard down or take our mask off. I think that it's still here and we need to be vigilant, and it certainly could surge. The schools they've been going. We've had very few incidents. Yes, there's been some. You hear once in a while of a teacher or a student who tests positive.
Yeah. What?
Go ahead.
There's been an influx of people, whether they had homes out on the East End, going out there and staying, or people moving from the city. Have you seen an influx of population in Southampton Township, and how is everybody handling that?
Well, overall, this has been a real challenge, the increased population. So it really started in April. A lot of New York folks came out to the Hamptons, to their summer home, and decided to make it where they would ride the pandemic out. And we saw a summertime population really for like 7 months. I think after Labor Day, some people did go back, not everybody. So I think we have less population now than we did, but we still have a significantly higher population here than we would this time of year. So on a given weekday in October, November, we have far more people than we normally would. And it's interesting demographically because, the year-round population, it's our workforce. It's our workforce, and they're not, the highest paid folks. They don't go out to dinner every night per se. And it's a seasonal economy. A lot of the new folks who are out here have money to spend and are supporting our local restaurants and shops. So there could be some positives that come out of this, but it's more people out here and could be more people in the schools. And you have seen at some of the schools an increase in population, not anything that they seem to not be able to handle in terms of increased enrollment. Right. I haven't heard of any schools proposing additions because of the pandemic, right. In terms of their buildings or adding more teachers because of the pandemic. Right. They seem to be able to absorb it, might be a couple extra kids per grade. So everybody seems to be managing. I had the conversation this morning with somebody from the police department because, as you have more people, you have more crime, right? If your population doubles,
right,
lots of things will double. The amount of traffic accidents will go up. The amount of people who suffer certain illnesses will go up. It's just a matter of population. So
have you seen
you
that?
expect
I keep reading
your services like
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We've seen an increase in opioid overdoses. We've seen it, proportional increases with the increasing population.
Yeah.
In some cases, less in the population. But how
Sure.
long are these people going to be here? Are they going to go?
Right? They're just like hopping into cars that either have the keys in them or that
Yeah,
are stealing. But let me ask you something. Talking about expenses and
yeah.
budgets,
Well, uh,
I want to talk
the
about the
lifestyle thing.
yeah. I want to talk about the proposed 2021 county budget and how that's going to affect people on the South Fork. Can you talk about that?
Right. Well, yeah. Let me pivot to that, but let me just finish on a related issue. So, as if we're going to have this higher population, we may need more police officers. We may need, more school teachers. At some point, government may have to adjust. If it's just a short-term thing,
Yeah.
so in doing my budget for next year, I'm not assuming that these people are staying. I'm assuming that the population will it'll go pretty much back to life before the pandemic.
Okay.
So the problem for me, so I haven't booked all these additional expenditures, but I am starting to be very concerned about predictable revenues. The county legislature is wrestling with a budget that takes away a lot of money from local police.
Mm.
The proposed budget takes about $4.5 million away from East End police departments. It's $4.5 million. It's a lot of money for the town of Southampton alone. It's $1.5 million. That's like 5% of my police budget. So what do? Do I increase taxes by 5% to eliminate police officers at a time when we have more people than ever? So these are the kind of complex decisions
This is hard.
that have to be made. And, the economics of this pandemic are really difficult. They're difficult to the towns. They're very difficult to the county, which depends on sales tax revenue.
Right.
People aren't, buying as much.
Yeah.
At least they're not buying as much that's subject to sales tax. And it's very difficult on the state. And, the local level, at the town level, although most of our money comes from property taxes, we do get money from the state and the county, and those monies are being reduced.
Yeah.
And then, we get money from fees here and there, like building department fees or justice court fees.
Right.
A lot of those things are way down. So this was a very complicated budget.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I mean, even with transportation and to that and how people are getting around, and there's so many issues that this has impacted. It's almost like we're in this abeyance, because I keep thinking.
Oh, this budget cuts public transportation funding of our main bus routes, the 10C, which gets our workers from East Hampton out to Montauk.
Right.
Gone. It's eliminated.
Yeah.
The bus. People depend upon that bus to get to work.
Yeah.
I don't know why they decided to cut that route, but you have to ask the county executive and the legislature that question. Yeah. But when they do cut public transportation, that's going to place a burden on our roads. We're going to end up with more traffic. More people are going to have to get around by car. It's going to place a burden on our employers who can't find workers, or now have to get a car ride from someone.
Yeah.
So, you're going to see an impact to the reductions in needed services. So this is even after we get a vaccine,
yeah,
which I hope is as soon as possible.
Right.
There are going to be lasting impacts, not just health effects, but there's going to be long-term.
Yeah, the economic
impact and others.
Great. Yeah. Let's in the time that we have left, I want to dive into a topic, the swimming pool, about the proposition about the pool out there. I know that, for talking about health issues, and people needing to get out and exercise. Tell us what's going on there and what may actually happen.
Sure. Well, I was there when we opened the rec center, and we brought the YMCA in to run that community pool. and we tried to keep it affordable for the residents of East Hampton. What a great thing that has been. You know, Southampton has always wanted something like that for a very long time, decades and decades. And, you know, we have this group that wants to raise the money, about 20 million. And so, you know, it's funny, when the YMCA rec center in East Hampton was built, there was a $4 million project. For, you know, the village provided the land, I think, in that case. So, and the town ran the thing. Yeah. So the town provided subsidy for the operation, but that was $4 million, and you know, the things like the pool were dollars just for that pool.
Yeah.
So today it's a $20 million, you know, $20 million to build a similar facility, and we have people who want to raise that money. So the town is saying, we'll provide the land. We'll provide the land. You raise the money privately, and we'll allow you to build a building with an indoor pool.
Right.
Similar to what East Hampton has, but without maybe some of the, you know, the other amenities that the rec center has there.
Right.
In the center of town. But
are you thinking near McGee Street? Is that the location idea?
Yeah, so if you're familiar with Southampton, you know, it's sort of not far from PC Richards area. Everybody knows where PC Richards.
You know where that is, yes.
What that is, I think it's one block east of that is McGee Street.
Right.
So it'll be very close to the main highway, County Road 39.
Right.
On McGee, and that's you know, we've looked at a number of different sites. Right now, that's probably the most popular site.
What's the goal in terms of, obviously, if and when you raise they raise the money to build it, what's the projected opening date? When's that first dip in the pool, you think, roughly?
You know, there's no date yet, you know.
Okay.
And it's not going to be easy to raise that kind of money. You know, I was involved with the Montauk Playhouse, and that pool built. I can't wait, but you know, it's taken a long time, and the costs go up each year. You know, I'm hoping that this happens in a much shorter time frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could take a few years to be able to get the commitments they need.
Yeah.
You know, we're blessed that we have people in our community who are willing to donate sizably for community benefit.
Right.
So whether it's building a brand new hospital, which they're looking to raise $250 to $300 million to build a brand new hospital.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to ask for people. Yeah. 20 million is a lot less, but it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, you know, through the generosity, we'll support something not for their personal benefit, but for everybody's benefit. And
it sounds great.
It'll be a really nice thing if it happens.
Good. Well, these are exciting prospects, and I wish you the best with upcoming budget, and obviously, hopefully, handling things as we have been with COVID. Town Supervisor for Southampton, our sister township, what affects you affects us, and vice versa. We're all for the East End, as we know.
Absolutely.
And we really appreciate you being on, and we're going to try to do this once a month so we can update with Jay Schneiderman. Jay Schneiderman, thank you so much for joining us at Fast Time.
That sounds great. Nice to see you, Angela. Stay safe.
You too.